Welcome to the show. After another thriller at Forsyth Bar, but again the Highlanders coming up short on the scoreboard. We'll talk to all involved, but first a results recap that saw the Cheetahs maintain their winning ways against the hapless Waratahs. The Kings were outranked by the Chiefs, who played at a much quicker tempo. It's not yet vintage Crusaders, but the signs were there when taming the Bulls. The Reds were exposed by the Force and lucky to get that close. Same goes for the Sharks, who had conceded to the Brumbies by half-time.
Well, first and foremost, feel for them. They gave everything. You know, some perhaps said that there was a little bit of fizz and maybe enthusiasm missing previous week, but it was all there tonight. So we couldn't ask for anything more there. Created enough opportunities and just couldn't quite finish them. We battled to get there in support at times. A couple of times also, I think, probably decisions once we'd made great breaks. Different decisions may have resulted in different outcomes, but you know that's the game. You got to get there. You got to make the most of those chances, and you got to nail them. And we haven't been able to do that yet. We're caught out a wee bit defensively again early on. Sort out a few things there because we've probably could have been caught out more. So I suspect. So that's probably a little bit of a recurring theme in a couple of areas, but we got it right actually in the game as the game went on. But then when we got our chances, as I've said, didn't nail them.
Some positive aspects. I thought Jason Emery, a great debut for such a young guy.
Yeah, outstanding. We didn't really know whether he'd play a huge part on the track for us this season, barring a lot of injuries. So that's come about pretty quickly for him. And yeah, I thought he played really, really well. Disappointing for him. He couldn't get that touch down the corner after all that hard work as well. But he did what he did very well.
He makes good decisions for a young guy.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He's a great guy actually. Very good worker. Clearly a very skilled footballer and with all the right attitude too.
And a big luck losing what looks like maybe two hookers. You're going through them.
It's going to make it interesting. Yeah, he could do without the injuries on top of everything else, but that's the way it goes, isn't it? So yeah, we'll have to take stock and see how bad things are, and we'll know where to go from there.
You're certainly playing entertaining football. It deserves more reward.
May well be, but yeah, you don't really see it that way if you don't get the reward, I don't think, Tom.
You know, one thing that we've been training all week was just a little bit of patience on attack, and that's what let us down at the end there, so a bit disappointing.
You broke their line many occasions.
Yeah, I suppose that's something that we've been doing, I suppose, in our first two games, so we'll break the line a little bit, and then it's just a matter of trying to finish off, after those line breaks, so we're still not quite there yet, but it gives us something to work on.
Technically, much better than last week, wasn't it? Line, it was more efficient, and just things we've done better around the field. Yeah, I thought our set piece, functioned really, really well. Probably the best that I've seen it this year. We can still, continue to get better, but I think all in all the forwards did really, really well, and gave us some platform to launch off at times. For myself personally, after last week's game, I was ready to play again on Sunday, and I think that's just about having another chance to rectify things in your game, and just wanted to try and do that as quick as we could, but it was definitely good to get out there at home again. You'd have loved to have got one over your old mates, but not quite.
Yeah, not quite. We've still got another chance later on in the season, so we'll see how that one goes.
Pretty pleased, and obviously with the bye next week, guaranteed 4 points. So just goes to show how tough the New Zealand conference is. It's you got to take your wins when you can. So pretty happy with the character. We left a couple of tries out there in the first half, and we just felt like we had the momentum a little bit there. But unfortunately, in the second half, we just couldn't build on that, and then we got those penalties to get us in front. So credit to the Highlanders, they came back, and we knew they were going to come back strong. So just happy to get the win. This environment and the stadium here is probably conducive to a bit of the ball going wide a couple of times, but I think both teams got a little bit too excited early on, and probably just focus on the width rather than actually going forward a little bit.
It's good to see TJ get some form back, because it's slowly working his way back to the top class rugby, but he looked on song tonight.
Yeah, no, he did, and once again, second year blues for him, initially, but the kids have to actually go through the fire to actually learn. So I think he's slowly getting there, and I think Bodie had he started getting his game there. He's still got deficiencies that he has to work on, but that's the nature of the comp. So hopefully we can build on that.
And the benches of all teams in the New Zealand Conference are getting well and truly tested, aren't they? Everyone has to perform in the squad.
Oh, and that's what we pride ourselves on the depth that we have, especially in key positions. So with Tusipisi coming in there and just closing the game out, territory-wise, and selection of moves and execution. I think he certainly put us in the right spots to actually get that last penalty. You've got to put your hand up to be selected, and if you don't, then someone else is going to take your spot. So it's great for Andre to come back out there, and like we know, he got excited and he did some great carries, and he contributed as well. So it's a long season. Everybody's just got to take their chances.
It was great fun to watch from the side. Was it great fun to watch as a coach?
Oh, I think I'll definitely book that pacemaker operation next week. So yeah, it's but you know that's why we love it. You know, it's pretty nerve-wracking, but I suppose if it was easy, everyone would do it. Eh?
You know, we've come off 3 losses, or 2 losses now, 3 losses, and it hurts a lot. And you know, we've talked about all the week what are we got to change, and you know, we're making line breaks and making plenty of opportunities, but just haven't been patient, especially in that 22. And you know, like I think last week we got beaten up at the breakdown, and that was a big thing. You know, in the last 2 or 3 years that we've prided ourselves on. So we're hurting a lot there. So we tried to rectify that this weekend and be a bit more urgent and a lot more patience. But you know, that last 5 minutes showed that we weren't quite patient enough. You know, the scrum was a wee bit untidy near the end, but and also probably the line out, couple of missed calls. You know, we didn't play the locking expertise on there at the end, but yeah, no, it does help when you get your own ball. You know, obviously last week we did get most of our ball, but you know, just more set phase launch. I think we're going better.
Have you ever played hooker? Because you might have to.
I'm just saying that. Well, Rutledge could end up coming up our camp this week, eh? It was at the Canes last week, and yeah, no, never had to play hooker. Almost played there my first year with the Crusaders. Got the call up and started throwing a few balls in, but no.
Well, we had a quick add up before we went on here, and over 200 games of first-class football. Does it feel like that?
Well, I look back and I mean, obviously I played for a few teams, and you know that's probably kept my enthusiasm here. Changing in different environments, and you know obviously to play 99 games, it's been pretty cool. You know, obviously I go back to 2003 when I first played my game, and talking to Marley the other day about it, and we played debuted the same game, and DC was there as well. But yeah, no, it seems like a while ago, but it'd be good to get to the ton eventually. Obviously we want to be in that top 6 come the end of the season, so we've got to start getting some points, and we got 1 today, and it's not probably about 3 short.
Obviously they've got a few midfielders out at the moment with Ma and Tamani to sort of come back, and you know, I thought the 2 players that played out there tonight, Burley and Emery, they did well. So as I say, it's just good to get 1 up early in the season. The big thing from us is we know we're a better team than we were last year. We know we've got one further year of experience, of skill level, of exposure, I suppose, but the one thing we've got to get used to is teams know us now. You know, they know our threats, and we're no longer the sort of hidden threat. So it's going to be a challenge for us throughout the season, but I think they did really well tonight.
And of course last week a little bit of good fortune at the end with the interceptors, but here today I think you proved it wasn't just a fluke.
Yeah, well, I'd like to say it wasn't just a fluke as well. Each of these games against the New Zealand franchises especially are tough, and you know the difference between winning and losing is often a hit and an intercept or a shot at goal, or you know the smallest things. And I suppose you've got to sort of maximise your opportunity to take those and minimise theirs, and it's nice to come away with the 4.
You'd actually want to play next week, wouldn't you? Because you've had a bit of a roll. Now you've got to buy. It's a shame to stop.
Yeah, you always like to. I've got a few niggles personally myself that be good to sort of rest up for a week and get a few things right. But you know we'll be full guns blazing for the Kings in a couple of weeks.
You mentioned you enjoyed playing at the stadium. It's a wonderful atmosphere.
Oh, it's great. I love it. Every time I come down, my family comes down from Christchurch, and they say it's the best place to watch rugby. They've been all over New Zealand watching, and I feel it's the best place to play in New Zealand. It's got a huge amount of atmosphere out there. It's bloody hard to make any calls. You know, within 10 metres you can hardly hear anything. You know, especially down the Zoos end. But it's a great sort of festival atmosphere to play in, and obviously great conditions every time we play. So it's an awesome place.
To the table now, topped by the only unbeaten team, the Brumbies, the Bulls clinging on to 3rd spot, the Blues happy to take the 4 points from the bye and stay in that top 6 ahead of the Reds and Sharks, who both had forgettable weekends. The Crusaders made great strides to now look an ominous threat to the front runners, and the Hurricanes also making good progress upward. Not a good look for the Highlanders, who will know 10 wins and 11 bonus points was the minimum to qualify for the playoffs last year, and with 13 games left, well, you do the maths. The New Zealand Conference sees the reigning champs sitting pretty, but it's a tough group with no easy points on offer, and the looming threat of the Blues and the Crusaders means no let-up for the Chiefs. In Australia, the Brumbies are now the runaway leaders, and deservedly so. The Wallaby Aladdin Tars have some soul-searching to do if they want to be in the reckoning. And finally, the South African Conference will be a close-run thing, but on the weekend form, none look likely for finals weekend.